chamber smelled of cold metal and old arrogance. Elias stood in the center of the circular hall, wrists bound with a glowing restraint band, while 12 alien counselors sat in their crescent of thrones, all pale-skinned, tall, and nearly identical, their silver eyes reflecting him like he was an insect pinned to a board. He wasn't, but they wanted him to be, human. The High Counselor intoned, voice thin and echoing. You are the last viable male we have acquired. Our species requires genetic uplift. You will choose one of the sisters. 2 figures were pushed into the light. Both were breathtaking in a way that made Ilias's heart clench tall, graceful and marked with glowing bioluminescent lines that pulsed across their arms and collarbones. Their pale hair shimmered like strands of moonlight, but their expressions, one trembled. The other stared defiantly. The trembling one stepped forward first. I am Lyra, she whispered. I don't want this. But if you choose me, my sister can go free. The defiant one straightened her spine. I am Saren. I refuse to beg. But if you choose me because you want to, not because they forced you. Elias looked between them. These weren't just subjects. They were people. Terrified, intelligent, and caught in the claws of a culture losing itself to desperation. He clenched his jaw. I'm not picking, he said. The chamber hissed with 12 sharp inhalations. The High Counselor leaned forward. You misunderstand, human. You may choose gently, or we may force your hand. Only one is needed. The other will be disposed of. Lyra flinched. Serene's fists tightened. Elias tilted his head slowly. Dispose of. They're not objects. They're sisters, genetic assets, another counselor corrected. That word did something to him in his months of captivity. He had witnessed cruelty tests, evaluations, cold hands moving him like livestock, but he had also seen small acts of kindness. Lyra slipping him bread when she cleaned his cell. Saren arguing with guards who handled him roughly. 2 sisters who, despite their world's laws, had treated him like a person. Now they expected him to pick which one lived. Elias's voice dropped. I said no. One of the guards activated an electrostaff. The High Counselor sighed. Very well. He will learn obedience. A guard stepped forward, sparks crackling, but Lyra suddenly moved, throwing herself in front of Elias. Stop. Please don't hurt him. Saren stepped to the other side, chin raised like a shield. If you touch him, I swear on the ancients, I'll tear the hall apart. The outrage in her voice echoed. The counselors exchanged looks. Now 3 people stood at the center of the hall, united by fear and defiance. The High Counselor tapped his staff twice. Separate them. Guards surged in. Lyra clung to Ilias's arm, shaking. Saran kicked a guard hard enough to send him sliding. Elias twisted his restrained hands, calculating angles, timing, positioning. He'd been trained for survival before he was abducted. He hadn't forgotten how to move. He whispered, Saren, sweep left. She instantly obeyed, sliding low and kicking a guard's knee out. Lyra, close your eyes. She did. Elias slammed his head back into the guard behind him, shattering the restraint band stabilizer. Sparks flew, and the band flickered open. The guard stumbled, confused. Elias lifted his freed fists, breath heaving. The High Counselor stood abruptly. Restrain them, now. But Saren was already grabbing a fallen electrostaff. Lyra reached Elias's side, breath quick, frightened, but determined. Elias, she whispered, please. What do we do? He looked at both sisters, one shaking, one blazing with courage, felt something settle inside him. They had protected him when they had nothing to gain. They had risked their lives in a hall where no one else dared speak. I take both of you, he said quietly. Home. The words hung in the air like lightning. Saren blinked. Home, but your planet? He squeezed her hand. Anywhere you're safe is home. Lyra's eyes filled with tears, but the moment shattered as the counselor shouted orders and the guards regrouped. Elias pointed toward the far door. The east maintenance corridor is Cerrone. You said it's unguarded during ceremonial hours? Saren nodded. Yes, but it's locked by I've already memorized the bypass codes.
Else.
He smirked. Thank your guard captain for talking too much. They ran. Alarms blared. Guards chased them through the crystalline halls, boots slamming against metallic floors. Saren fought like wildfire, every strike clean and precise. Lyra stayed close to Elias, guiding him through branching tunnels he'd never seen. At the corridor entrance, a blast door slammed down. Elias darted forward, typing rapidly into the side console. Saren pressed her back to his, defending against the first wave of guards. Hurry, she shouted. Lyra grabbed Elias's arm. Please, please open it. The door clicked, then hissed upward. They slipped inside. Just as the guards lunged, Saren smashed the panel, sealing the door behind them. Only panting silence remained. The maintenance corridor was narrow, bathed in pale blue light, stretching toward a loading bay Elias had glimpsed weeks ago during relocation. It was their only chance as they ran. Lyra whispered, Elias, thank you. I thought they were going to kill us. They won't touch either of you again, he promised. Saren snorted softly. Bold words for a human who was supposed to be a breeding tool. He glanced sideways. Bold enough to take two moonlit sisters away from an empire? That made her blush. They burst into the loading bay. Rows of small courier ships lined the hangar, each sleek and pointed like silver arrows. Elias already knew which one was. Operational, he'd studied their patrol patterns for months. That one. He pointed. They sprinted. But before they reached it, the High Counselor's voice thundered over the speakers. Human. Release the sisters and you will be spared. Take one and we will not pursue you. They stopped at the ship's ramp. Lyra trembled. He's lying, Saren growled. He always lies. Elias glanced at them both. They deserved a choice, not another command. Do you want to go? He asked. With me? Saren hesitated only a second. I'll die before going back. Lyra took his hand. I'll go wherever my sister goes. And wherever you go, Elias nodded once. Together. They boarded the ship. The ramp began to close. But then a blast shook the bay as guards flooded in, firing stun bolts. Lyra screamed as a shot grazed her shoulder. Saren pulled her behind a crate. Elias sprinted for the cockpit. Systems hummed awake as he slammed his hand onto the control panel. Come on, come on! The ship roared to life. He shouted back, Hold on! The vessel surged upward and shot through the closing hangar shield. Wind and stars swallowed them. Space stretched before them, a vast ocean of freedom. In the cockpit doorway, Lyra leaned against Saren for support. You really? Took us both. She breathed. Elias turned to them, expression soft but fierce. You're not tools. You're not tokens. You're not choices. His voice steadied. You're family now. Lyra's eyes shone with tears. Saren looked away quickly. Pretending something in her eye needed blinking out, the stars wheeled past as Elias angled the ship toward a distant nebula. Behind them, alarms from an empire shrieked across frequencies. Ahead of them was everything else. Saren stepped into the cockpit and folded her arms. So, she said, trying to hide her smile, where exactly is home, human? Elias grinned. Wherever the three of us land and decide to stay. Lyra rested her head on Serene's shoulder. Together. Always, Elias said. Saren let out a breath like she'd been holding it her entire life. Then let's find that place. Together. The ship disappeared into the starfield, 3 fugitives. 3 hearts bound by defiance, and a future no council could ever control again.